Today, we're going to be talking about the top 5 free-to-play units on Global that you guys are going to want to be investing in right now because they're absolutely broken and they're going to help you clear really difficult content. And a lot of these characters will honestly surprise you because some of them are rares and they go absolutely crazy. So with all of that said, let's hop into it. So starting with the most obvious free-to-play character that pretty much everybody is using right now, Yaga. Yaga is the most insane buffer slash debuffer in the game. He's still to this day on JP, top of the tier list. So you guys absolutely, this is your #1 free-to-play investment character if you were lucky enough to pull him. Most people, when they did their initial summons, hopefully got a copy of him. If you didn't, that's a big rip. Like for me personally, I didn't get the SR Nomi, and running this guy and SR Nomi together is absolutely broken. So I'm still hoping to get SR Nomi at some point, but if you got this character, you are set. So what can Yaga do? Yaga deals 100% melee taijutsu damage with his skill 1, arguably his worst skill because it doesn't really do anything for the team, but hey, it doesn't require any cursed energy to do, so keep that in mind. His skill 2 is his best skill in my opinion, tutoring, increases all allies taijutsu damage by 27.8% for 4 turns and jujutsu damage for the same percentage. If you upgrade it to level 10, it's a 45.8% damage boost to your allies for 4 turns. And the key about this character, not a lot of people realize this, I've had a lot of people ask this in the comments, is that this is stackable. So you can continue to use this multiple turns in a row and stack it up on your allies to make them go absolutely crazy. So that makes Yaga phenomenal. And then his skill 3, Let's Go Kathy, deals 80% ranged jujutsu damage to the selected enemy for 4 hits, so that extra damage is nice. It's not super crazy. Deals combined damage equal to 100% taijutsu and 20% jujutsu to the selected enemy. And then here's the part that I think is really good about it. Increases the selected enemy's damage received by 27.8% for 2 turns. And if you upgrade it to level 10, increases their damage by 47.6%. So not only can you buff your allies for more damage up to almost 50%, you can also increase the amount of damage the enemy receives by almost 50% with this character. Now the one thing about this skill is it only lasts for 2 turns, so you want to use it like right before you do a ultimate skill in my opinion. And then the ultimate skill for him, Advanced My Curse Corpses, deals 406.8% ranged jujutsu damage to the selected enemy for 6 hits, decreases their taijutsu and jujutsu damage by 25.4% at level 1, and then increases the selected enemy's damage received by 25.4%. I think this is the more important part. I mean, decreasing the damage they do is nice when you're going against a boss too, don't get me wrong, but I think increasing the amount of damage they receive is really, really good. And then at level 10 again, once again, the percentages go up to almost 50%. So Yaga is absolutely freaking busted. This is your #1 investment character as a free-to-play player. This is what you want to go for. Even if you're a pay-to-play player like myself, still a high priority investment character. Absolutely want to invest in this character. I think most people have been, so I'm happy with that. Like, great job if you invest in this character. If you haven't been, then you need to get to it because he is absolutely going to carry you through content. The next character that I think you guys should be investing in as free-to-play players is Nomi. I already mentioned him. He works insanely well with Yaga. The JP players still rate him very highly. At the end of this video, I will show you guys a tier list for where all 5 of these characters are placed right now in JP from the JP players, so it's more accurate than most other tier lists in my opinion, but Nomi is still very high up on that tier list. So what can Nomi do? First off, he has a Black Flash. When Black Flash is performed, he increases his own Black Flash rate, which is just, extra damage whenever you land a Black Flash, so that's nice. His skill 1 is Sweep, deals melee combined damage equal to 50% taijutsu and 50% jujutsu to the selected enemy. Not anything super crazy, but once again, doesn't cost curse energy. Percentage goes up when you level it up. His skill 2, just like Yaga, I think is one of his best skills. Let's Do This, increases own damage by 27.8% for 4 turns, increases all allies damage by 20.9% for 4 turns, so another 4-turn buff, which is really, really good. And if you upgrade it to level 10, it's not quite as much as Yaga, but still 34.4% increase to damage is pretty dang decent. So when you stack this buff for damage plus Yaga's buff for jujutsu and taijutsu damage, it's absolutely insane, right? So if you run both of these characters on a team, it'll just carry you through content. And then skill 3, 7-3, deals melee combined damage equal to 100% taijutsu and 100% jujutsu, just a high damage dealing skill. It's okay. And then his ultimate ratio technique deals melee combined damage equal to 250% taijutsu and 250% jujutsu to the selected enemy, and then increases all allies' damage by 14.3% for 2 turns, and if you get it to level 10, increases their damage by 27.8%. So this works out really well when you pair it with Yaga's ultimate skill as well, because it increases the damage that allies do, and then Yaga is going to be decreasing the enemies, or actually increasing the damage received, sorry. So that's really, really good when you combine their 2 ultimate attacks in the same turn as well. So these 2 are like best friends. Nomi and Yaga, your top 2 investment characters for free-to-play characters, in my opinion. Now the next one might surprise a few people, it might not, but I actually think this Kaio Yuki is fairly decent. The SR1 now, or the rare one, I apologize, not the SR1. The SR1 is in here as well. I like the rare one better than I like the SR1 though. I've seen a lot of people using the SR1, but I feel like people are sleeping on the rare Kaito. Okay, so what can this guy do? He's insane. His skill 1 deals 100% melee damage to a selected enemy. Once again, no cursed energy required. Goes up to 150% damage. And then his skill 2, defensive barrier, is a decent skill, not his best skill, but a decent skill. Decreases the selected allies' damage received by 25%. You can get that all the way up to 39.4%. I think that's fairly decent, decreasing the damage they receive. You can stack this buff as well on top of other defense buffs and stuff like that, so it can be fairly useful. But then the thing that makes him really, really good and keeps him high on the tier list according to JP players is this skill 3 right here. Cursed Energy Support. Recovers all allies' cursed energy by 10 every turn for 2 turns. Okay, that is very, very good, because that's going to allow allies to use like skill 3s or skills that cost more cursed energy more often. That is not to be underrated, because that's going to allow you to do bigger damage with other characters. For example, a character like Nobara, where her skill 3 just goes absolutely insane. This will allow you to use that more often, and that is not to be underestimated. When you upgrade this to level 10, it gives cursed energy back by 19, and you can be using skill 3s like every other turn. It's absolutely insane. And then his ultimate is also really, really good as a rare character. Curse Technique Boost increases all allies' jujutsu damage by 64.8%. And then if you upgrade it to level 10, increases jujutsu damage by 128%. Like, this is a rare character, and he is one of the best supports in the game. Absolutely insane. I think because of the boost that he does, he's slightly better than the SR version, but the SR version is still decent. Okay, so the SR version of Kaio Yuki is also in the top 5 free-to-play units that I would invest in. And so what can this character do? His skill 1 is called Light Wall. Deals 70% ranged jujutsu damage to the selected enemy. Decreases the selected enemy's damage by 15%, right? So that's going to help your allies stay alive. That's pretty decent. Get it up to level 10. Decreases their damage by 22% that they can do. And then his skill 2 costs 20. Demon Repelling Wall decreases all allies' jujutsu damage received by 22.1%. At level 10, it goes up to 35.6%. So using this in compilation with any of his other skills really just gives you so much survivability. He is a very, very good support defense type character. It's weird the way he works. His skill 3 is called Defensive Wall. Grants attack nullification to the selected ally, which is absolutely broken. And then increases the selected ally's jujutsu damage by 15% as well. So not only does he make it so that ally can't be hurt, but he also increases their jujutsu damage, which is insanely good. Like this skill right here is what makes the character. However, it does have a high investment cost of 40 cursed energy, so keep that in mind when you go to use this character. And at level 10, it increases your jujutsu damage by 25.8%. His ultimate is called Barrier Prison, deals 290% ranged jujutsu damage to the selected enemy, stuns the selected enemy. That stun can be useful. I prefer personally characters that have stuns on command skills versus an ultimate skill, but like it's not terrible, it's okay. But really the thing that makes this character, I would argue, is his skill 3. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. And last but not least, for the final free-to-play character that I would invest in, it is going to be Cursed Power of Words, Toge Inumaki. This guy is insanely good in the boss battles. So like if you're taking on Jogo, if you're taking on Hanami, any battle where you're taking on one opponent, he is broken. He is your cheese strategy, like all the way around. And he is still to this day rated very highly by JP players. So what can he do? Well, basically none of his skills matter besides the skill 3, but I'll read them anyways. So his skill 1 is called Crush, deals 106% Jujutsu damage to the selected enemy, and he hurts himself for 3 HP. At level 10, 153% Jujutsu damage, not anything too crazy. Skill 2 is Protect, decreases all allies' damage received by 25% for 2 turns, 2 times, fills all allies' ultimate skill gauge by 124, sacrifices 12 HP. This one's actually decent, but if I had a choice between using skill 2 and skill 3, I'm going to use skill 3 every single turn I can, in my opinion. But it can be upgraded to decrease their damage received by 43% and fill their ultimate gauge by a ton. Like, that actually could be very, very useful. 213 ultimate gauge is not to be underestimated. That's really, really good. And then his skill 3, though, it's a lower cost than his skill 2. It only costs 20 cursed energy, right? So it's pretty good. Even at level 10, it's still lower cursed energy. So what this does is it stuns the selected enemy for 1 turn. It has a 95% chance to stun, sacrifices 5 HP. Now at level 2, it goes up to 101%, but that does not mean you always get the stun. This game is weird with the way it works with percentages, but 100% chance isn't actually a 100% chance to stun. So you need to upgrade the skill if you are going to invest in this character. This is your #1 skill to upgrade. I recommend upgrading it all the way to level 10, so you have that 156% chance to stun. And if you are able to stun every single turn in a boss fight, the boss just doesn't get to do anything. For example, Jogo will enter his domain if you don't stun him. Inumaki is very, very good for stopping Jogo from entering his domain, because when he enters his domain, he'll just like hit your entire team and could potentially wipe some of your characters. And if you're trying to clear the missions without anybody dying, you almost need to run this character, at least early in the game. Eventually it'll be easier, you know, people won't need to run this character, but if you're thinking about taking on Extreme 1, Extreme 2, any point soon, you're going to need this character. So you should be investing in him right now for endgame content, because he is going to help you out on global tremendously, in my opinion. And then last but not least, his ultimate Explode deals 480% Jujutsu damage to the selected enemy, sacrifices 15% HP. He cannot die from sacrificing HP. It's not that great. Personally, this is why I almost put these characters in order of how good I think they are for investment wise. So I don't think like this skill is super great, but his skill 2, skill 3, phenomenal, and they can help carry you through some endgame content. So I do recommend investing in this character as one of the top 5 free-to-play characters that you want to invest in. Now, where do they all rank on the tier list? So this is going to be a JP tier list that I'm pulling up once again. So if we look at double S tier, we have Yaga up here in double S tier. We also have Kaito up here. This is the rare one in double S tier. Very, very nice, right? And then in S plus tier, we have Nomi. That's right, Kaito ranks higher than Nomi. We have Nomi here. And then if we go down a little bit, in S tier, we have Inumaki, and we also have the SR Kaito as well. So that's kind of where those characters rank that I just showed you guys. So that was Yaga, that was Nomi, that was Kaito, the rare version, Kaito, the SR version, and Toge Inumaki once again. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Hopefully it gives you an idea of who to invest in. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And if you guys would like to see the top 5 free-to-play recollections, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that video will be coming out soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.